You gave out tickets to Barracuda season ticket holders. You gave extra tickets to Sharks season ticket holders. You gave out more to I think they had 40 pairs of tickets from KFox. Um, Tickets were starting at $40 this morning.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, and this is what you're trying to promote. This is how you promote 0 for 14 at home on the power play. You lose to the worst team in the NHL by far, the team that looks like it could actually challenge the Sharks for 11-71-2. Uh, this is beyond unacceptable. In the psychologically, you can't do what happened at the end of that second period. And to start the game getting outshot 12-4, yeah, they came back and got close 13-10 at the end of the first period, but that is ridiculous. That is unacceptable. And how the hell Doug Wilson will sleep tonight because his team is shit in the can. Wait, I'm sorry, not just his team, but also the frickin' Barracuda. Where the hell are you guys at? Oh, that's right, you're coached by Roy Sommer. My bad. Forgot that you guys didn't give a damn. All right, you guys go.
Yeah,
I'm done
no.
talking.
The reason why the Sharks have a 2-9 record against Columbus in the last 11 games, they're 2-9, is because Columbus flat out outworks them. All right, Columbus actually gave a damn about that game in the first period instead of the Sharks, who forgot that they're playing at 7:30 and let's just fly by the seat of our pants and let's give up the first goal again. This trend has got to stop. And not only that, but this is supposed to be the decor going forward. The decor is intact. All we're missing is Logan Couture. So you're not supposed to let in goals at the same rate because you have your quote-unquote core decor intact. This is ridiculous. It's ridiculous. The
Yeah,
power play is ridiculous. Vlasic being on the power play is ridiculous. Dylan's play is ridiculous. Tennyson is ridiculous.
here's the thing. Couture, Torres, and um, and Melker Carlson shouldn't be affecting this team that much.
Not at all.
Yeah, and Ian, good evening to you, and I
Hi.
would like to apologize for that rant, but for that to happen again, where it's happened for years, where we play down to a worser team. Yeah, I know they have all the potential and everything. Yeah, I get it, bench. You know, why is Twitter all mad? Okay, you just lost to a 2-10 team. That's why. But Ian, good evening to you. Your thoughts?
Yeah. Hey, everybody. I know the Sharks lost tonight, but the real news tonight is obviously Connor McDavid. So I think we should just spend the rest of the show on that because I don't think you're going to get coverage on that topic anywhere else.
But you know
Nowhere.
what? At this point, I'm sure Connor McDavid playing with a broken collarbone, he could get a hat trick on the Sharks.
Um, so just for everybody's knowledge, TSN is reporting that Connor McDavid has a fractured collarbone. Me and Ian kind of were on the same wavelength on this one, saying it was a broken collarbone.
Yeah.
That he looked bad going into the boards, and he wasn't putting any kind of weight on that shoulder. So it sucks for hockey. Sucks for the Oilers because why the hell else would you go to an Oilers game? But you know what? At this point, I'm so pissed off about the Sharks.
I know.
Maybe it is a good thing that we talk about Connor McDavid.
I'm just sad for Yakupov. He has to go back to being overrated again.
Wow.
But anyway, okay, on to the Sharks. Look, there's two sides of me that generally comes out. There's the rational side of me, and then there's the not so rational side of me. Rational side says, all right, it's November, it's a crappy game, but it's still November. There's lots of hockey left to play. Not so rational me says that this is beyond fucking ridiculous at this point. Like I don't know what's going on anymore. I understand Logan Couture being out, but Logan Couture being out, like other teams can stomach these kind of injuries and still somehow beat bad teams. And the fact that the Sharks aren't really beating good teams this year, and now that they're not beating bad teams either, I don't know. And it's just, to me, I'm just starting to wonder, is this team even good? Like that's the point I'm at with them right now. Irrational me says, is this team even a good team? And
at this point,
guys, but remember, 2 games in, the Sharks are back.
No, at this point, I feel like the defense is half AHL, half-assed. Because honestly, Burns playing as a defenseman is kind of a joke at this point. Dylan is a fucking joke. I mean, the guy is slipping up everywhere. He takes dumbass penalties. Can't get his shot onto the fucking goal. I mean, it's ridiculous. And I'm sorry, Rocket. I know you're a big Dylan fan, but he is shit-tastic right now.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't know what to say. I mean, it's just there's just no better way to say that. That's what he is.
No, and honestly, I mean, I think right now, if I was Peter DeBoer, I'd bench his ass. I put Stollery in, and I also bench Tennyson's ass, and I put Mueller on. Because quite frankly, Tennyson is a train wreck out there. He does not know what to do in his defensive zone. He gives up the puck way too easy. He's making blind passes through the neutral zone, making blind passes through the defensive slot, meaning that if Columbus picks up on a pass that he's making through the slot, prime scoring chance. Oh, and not to mention, they're making these boneheaded mistakes when Martin Jones is out there playing grab ass in the fucking triangle or trapezoid.
Yeah.
I mean, what the fuck? 2 of those goals were on Martin Jones not getting back in time and playing grab ass in the trapezoid.
Yeah, he pulled an Urbe there. Way to really get into the heritage spirit of the Sharks.
Oh, they fucking pissed on this jersey. And I said, you know what? I said, just bring the effort and represent the teal and represent this heritage jersey. Instead, what do? They go and shit on it.
No, they just made it sure it was a true heritage thing, give you that 1991-92 feel.
Oh, they sure showed that tonight.
Oh.
They played like a 71 loss team. That's for damn sure. And again, this is the thing that the Sharks do, unfortunately, year after year. You know, they play down to their opponent's level and let them get an inch of confidence, and it gets them going. You know, now you have Florida coming in tomorrow or on Thursday, who took care of the Sharks twice. You had Columbus that you took care of, that took down the Sharks twice. That's 8 points. Well, guess what? What an 8-point difference would have been in that. They would have made the playoffs. They would have made the playoffs if they had beaten Florida and Columbus twice. Oh, don't forget Buffalo too, who was trying to tank for McDavid.
Oh, and not to mention, you know, if we have the February from fucking hell again, that this team is not going to even sniff the playoffs.
Well, I mean, the team had last year. I mean, you look back to last year. Before the February from hell, we had the November from hell too. November wasn't a good month for us last year, if I recall correctly. It was November, October.
And the Blue Jackets just got the buzzing tweet of the night. At NHL, at San Jose Sharks, cool jerseys.
You know what? Like I said, they pissed all over this jersey, and it's so fucking ridiculous. Mike Lee, his goal tonight is to make me laugh while I'm trying to play Angry Sharks fan. And we got a couple others on Twitter. It's pretty hot tonight. We got Slushy Jake saying this game resembles a 3-6 loss in Edmonton in 2006, and I couldn't agree with you more. Jake also says Mike Brown was on the PK. They were pretty desperate. Yeah, they were pretty desperate if Mike Brown's on the PK. And
Where do
then
we even okay? Where do we even start with that? Like Mike Brown. Let's talk about that for a second. Like, what do they? I don't understand what the Sharks see in him.
I don't know. I don't see what they see in Brian Lurg either. And
No.
the fact that he's wearing Buster's number really pisses me off,
Yeah,
especially
same
with that
here.
jersey.
With that jersey, it
Oh
really
well, I
pisses
mean,
me
you
off.
got Mike Brown wearing 18 too. If you want to go that route.
That's true. From quote unquote Uncle Darren Stevens at Shark Stats, Columbus is 5-3-0 in their last 8 games in San Jose. Prior to that, Columbus was 1-15-2 here. Only one in that span was January 8th in 2004 in overtime. So since right before the canceled season, they are now 5-3 in San Jose.
That's brutal. I I don't even know. I don't even know. You've
John
been
Shannon.
nominated for general manager though.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. I will certainly do that. John Shannon of Sportsnet up in Canada. Sharks now drop to 6 wins, 6 losses on the season, 2-3 at home. Power plays 0-14 on home ice this season.
Yeah.
All right, so I guess that we should probably do some semblance of the show. Let's kind of break down the power play first. All right.
Okay. Here, I'll pass it to you, Landy, and then you pass it to me, and then I'll pass it back to Ian, and then he'll pass it back to me.
That's true.
And then I'll wait and look around, and
Are you gonna hold it on the half boards for 5 minutes?
Oh yeah, of course.
And the other thing that really is kind of bothering me is that DeBoer is giving that top power play unit a minute and a half. I don't understand when they're not getting the job done. Why don't they cut that time down? Give a minute to that top unit and then a minute to that bottom unit. And by the way, Vlasic should have no fucking business on a power play. No fucking business.
Here's the thing with, I mean, I understand, like, they're not getting enough time, though, but that second unit looks terrible. Like, at least when the first unit's on, like, there seems to be some semblance of pressure. The second that second unit's on, it might as well be a power play for the other team. That's the problem there.
Yeah. No, I agree. And maybe, you know what? Maybe it's time for a radical rethink. Maybe you got to put Thornton and Hurdle and Ward together, and then maybe you got to have... hell, I don't know, Tennyson and Burns on the back end for the first unit, and then the second unit you put Marlowe and Pavelski with Wingles. I mean, I don't know. At this point, I think it's stale. It needs to be freshened up. I think you need to take away Thornton's toys and make him work for it, because right now he's doing the same old shit that we've all pissed on him for. It's funny because those first 3 games, you saw a marked difference in him shooting. You saw the marked difference in him pushing the play. Now he's reverted back to that half-board kind of stop up in the middle of the zone, wait for reinforcements, and then try and pass it to somebody. I mean, it's night and day from the first 4 games to now. It really is. It's like pretty much everything that DeBoer taught him is out the window. We're going to go back to the way we play, and you know what? Fuck it. If we don't win, then at least we're cashing checks.
Yeah, and that's what it's looking like. It's a not give a puck effort. Not give a puck effort.
Patrick on Twitter, Generation X Wing, of course. Wait, so maybe it wasn't coaching? I still think that. I don't even know anymore. What the hell do I know?
No. I think T-Mac. No, I think T-Mac was pretty fucking stubborn. And I wanted somebody in here who would snap the whip, crack some backs, and fucking make these players earn it. And I thought DeBoer was going to be that kind of a guy. Honestly, I mean, I don't like Tortorella in any stretch of the means, but at least if he was the coach, he'd have these guys at least fucking bag skating them every day. And maybe they need that, because right now, they clearly, in the first period, they just don't care. They're just not ready to start the game.
No, I agree. I mean, that was kind of my thing, too. When we went from T-Mac, which I still think was probably the right idea, I think T-Mac had just gotten stale in San Jose. And he went to too many press conferences after the game and be like, well, I don't know what to do anymore. Well, clearly, if you don't know what to do, then, pack your bags and go. the thing here that
If you don't know what you're to do anymore, then why the hell are you here? And that's on the
basically,
general manager too.
no, yes, and that's a completely another. Does not bench veterans. That was a myth. And Patrick just said again. I'll tell you that the board does not bench veterans. That was a myth. You know, I don't know. I mean, but when they fired Todd McClellan, I was kind of hoping, like, I always kind of wanted that one, that guy to come in, that diminishing returns kind of guy, your Peter Laviolette, your, kind of like your old, like, Pat Burns, Mike
Fucking
Keenan
Mike
guy.
Keenan, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That kind of coach, a guy that was going to come in here, he's only going to be here for a couple of years, but for that couple of years, they'll be really good, and then they'll slide into the gutter, and it's time to rebuild anyway. That was kind of the coach that I wanted to see come in, and we just, but it's hard because those coaches don't do very well for any stretch of time.
Mike Lee is saying, make life unbearable for Thornton and Marlowe so they can accept a trade and start over. At this point, I mean, at this point, when you don't put in the effort and you're seeing them stop up on extremely good chances to shoot the puck, I can understand why Sharks fans want to go there. I really can. I can't fault anybody that says that. It's funny because Patrick Marleau is so on and off. Sometimes he's there, sometimes he's not. It seemed like in the second period when the Sharks, the first part of the second period when they didn't have their heads in their asses, it looked like Hertl, Ward, and Marleau had some good chemistry going on. It looked like they were playing pretty well. But then it kind of falls apart. And then who do you put the blame on that? I mean, I don't think it was Hertl. I saw Hertl trying to go out of his way to do things. Ward's always putting the time in.
Damn this to do something. You can't rely on Joe Pavelski and Ward to carry you, because and that's the other thing. If you put Pavelski and Ward together on a line, all you're going to do is just have them focus on them.
No, and I think and like I have been saying for the last, I don't know how many shows since Couture was hurt, you have to break up Thornton and Pavelski. I don't understand why there's such a resistance to do it. That you have Pavelski, who is the next best playmaker after Couture. Yeah. And you put Ward up there with Thornton because Thornton loves that big winger, and try and spread the wealth out. Put Tierney on the fourth line. Put Hertl on the third line, so you can stretch out these lines a little bit and get some mismatches. Because right now, believe me, these top nine that they're trying to stack are doing nothing, and having an AHL sub AHL players on the fourth line is doing nothing. It's doing nothing, and the guys are playing 5 or 6 minutes. You might as well just fucking roll 9 guys out there instead of having all 12 forwards, because honestly, I mean, what the fuck do they do?
Yeah. Just looking at some of the numbers from tonight, I mean, obviously the power plays being 0 for 4 is pretty terrible. Sharks 20 giveaways tonight. 20.
Oh no, that's
what their favorite dessert is.
Oh,
nice little apple turnovers.
Yeah, I mean they, 46 face-off wins to 22. They blocked 18 shots. Generally we're a little bit more disciplined, but like none of that matters until when you turn over the puck 20 times.
Do you guys remember in Thornton and Marlowe's prime the takeaway number, and how the takeaway number always used to be so lopsided against teams, and especially weaker teams? Columbus outstripped the puck from us 8-7, and that tells me that they were not focused.
Oh.
And that's the one number you look at on any page, and you go to that one line, takeaways, and to me that's the mental focus kind of stat, kind of number, just on a standard box sheet, and it shows me that what they had their heads so far up their asses. It's piss poor.
I'm working on a graphic on the Schneids, and once I show it to you guys, it's gonna be mind blowing.
So Mike Brown had 5 minutes tonight.
Okay.
Brian Lerg had 7 minutes tonight. I mean, why? Why even throw him out there then? If you're going to play 5 to 7 minutes, why even roll him out there?
I don't get it.
At least bring up Goldobin and put Goldobin, Ward, and Thornton together, and then you can try and spread the wealth. I mean, I'd rather stock this with Jevlapovs and Goldobin and Mueller and watch those guys at least work, because they're getting the call up, and you know what, they're gonna put the effort in, instead of having fucking Mike Brown, Brian Lerg, and Gaudreau put in 5 to 7 minutes.
But here's the thing: you tick the time off of their entry level deals.
Well, I mean, Doug Wilson,
and
but
the other part too. Sorry, and the other part too is they ain't doing shit in the AHL. Why would they bring them up in the NHL?
Because they're playing. Yeah, and they're playing better than Gaudreau, Brown, and Lerg. I mean, Lerg is a joke.
And here's a stat. Put this up, Landy.
All right.
Slip Schneiding away. These are the current Schneids on this team right now. Hurdle has no goals in 9 games. He does have 3 assists. Thornton, 9 games without a goal. 4 assists in that span. Tierney, 9 games. 1 assist in that span. Marleau hasn't had a point in 8 games. All right, take that back. Marleau has had a point, but 8 games for a guy who's trying to get the 500 goals sometime by the end of next season. Donskoy, 6 games. Let's not forget he was injured too. He has 1 assist in that span, and that was tonight, outside Pavelski shooting the puck off of his butt. Lerg has 0 points in the 5 games he's played. Wingels has 4-game goalless drought, and the 1 assist was a shorthanded goal to Nieto. And Nieto is now on a 2-game schneid. You are banking on Ward and Pavelski way too much. You shouldn't be banking on a 34-year-old to be your leading scorer in the NHL, and putting Pavelski, who, granted, he has a 5-game goal streak, and that's awesome and everything. However, you can't tell me teams are going to be focusing on him when they're in the lineup. They don't need to look at Donskoy. They can let Donskoy skate circles around. Joe's not going to shoot, so you just block the passing lanes. You can give him a freaking open net if you wanted to.
Yeah. We've got Generation X-Wing saying, so what you're saying is play younger guys and bench the veterans. Isn't that something that DeBoer was noted for doing? And then he goes myth, and he's got a winking face. So, yeah, no, I mean, that's what we were sold. We were sold that, and, whatever. And we also got Slushy Jake saying, ask the panel to rank the teams, the 03, 04, 05, 06, 09, 10, 10, 11 teams. He really wants us to rank these teams. And well, no, I mean, how do you want the ranking? Do you want it by talent level? Do you want it by heart level? Do you want it by the mixture of them both? I mean, to me, the team that Marleau took to the Western Conference Finals had the most heart, because you had Ricci on that team, and you had you had Marleau playing better, of course, but that team, at least when they were down 2 goals, they wouldn't just give up. And not that the Sharks did that today. The Sharks actually did pretty well in that latter half of the third period. The first part of the third period, they didn't come out with enough effort, in my opinion. But the latter half of that third, they did a good job, I think.
Yeah.
But of course, it was a little
too late.
Yeah, a little. It wasn't enough.
And
no.
They're used to having, getting what I like to call the teaser goal. where they're down by 3 or 2, they score a couple of quick ones and they're within one, and then they just run out of gas.
When's the last time the Sharks held the lead? Like other than beating the Avalanche, and even that we scored what last minute of the game, like close to it.
Carolina, I guess.
It's ridiculous.
It was 2
We
weeks
should
ago.
probably hammer out some of these tweets, Luke. 'Cause we got a pile of them here.
Woohoo! All right, that's what I'm talking about. Let's see here. King Shark 49, Daryl. Good evening to you, our co-fearless leader. The Sharks in one word: soft. There are no other words at this point. Hashtag old hat.
Can't
Uh,
argue with that.
you
I
know,
got Charlie Kreiderman here also. He says, look at how good the Wild played last season after Yo threw a flipping, shit fit at practice. The
it,
Sharks need that. I completely agree.
it also helped that they acquired a hot goaltender in Dubnik, who was just went on an unreal uh, run.
Hey Eric, you go to practices, right?
Yeah, I go here and there. Yeah,
What's their practice look like? Go kind of walk through it a little bit.
they they'll slowly come out a little bit at a time, and they'll shoot the puck around. And I haven't been to a DeBoer practice yet, but usually it's kind of typical. They'll skate around the entire rink, and then coach will blow the whistle and make them, skate a little bit more, and then they'll break out into like 3-on-2 drills, or like certain drills where they will pass it on the half boards to the point. The point man will take the shot, and there'll be like a defenseman and a forward. The forward, of course, is trying to tip the puck into
Yeah,
the net.
because this is now the third coach that we have seen the Sharks sag under. So we've seen it with Ron Wilson, we saw it with McClellan, and now we're starting to see it with Peter DeBoer. You've changed the coach, you've changed
Hmm.
some players, but you haven't changed the core out. Maybe it's
Yeah.
time. Maybe it's time to not give these guys the velvet glove anymore, because to me it just seems like leisure cruise, like the country club. When I played football and played baseball, they'd make you run your asses off. Now, of
Mhm.
course, that's little league, and that's what you do. But these are professional athletes. These are guys that are supposed to be uh, going at a high performance all the time, even in practice. And to me, it just seems like, do they not prepare well enough? Do they not go over the right things in practice? I mean, it's like me showing up for a math test that I haven't even studied for. I go in there and go, huh? It just I
It,
just don't
it's
know.
it's like you cut out on class, like 3 straight classes, and then all of a sudden you do walk in and there's a midterm exam, and you go,
Yeah.
oh crap. I mean, it just seems like it's just. I mean, what do we need to do? The constants are Doug Wilson, Joe Thornton, Patrick Marlowe, Joe Pavelski, Mark Edward Vlasic. Ever since the 06-07 season, that's what's left.
Hmm.
That's what's left. I like to kind of call it the changing the logo era, because everything else is status quo. I mean, those guys are the main guys. Everything else has changed around them.
Hmm.
Goaltending, the defenseman, looking for the studded offensive defenseman, or Thornton's line mates, needs Chichu. No, he needs Mark Bell. No, let's bring in Nils Ekman. No, well, bring in Ronick. No. It,
Yeah. I mean, Chris Edwards chimes in on the chat. He says, just need to do a proper rebuild, which hasn't been done since when? Scrap the core, build through the draft. DW's 2014 draft is still looking really good this year. Agreed. I mean,
Yeah.
like we've kind of all said, we've got some prospects in the pipeline, and if Doug Wilson loses his job, it's not like the next GM's got to start from scratch. He's
No.
got a little bit of things in the cupboard, but You know, I mean, right now, this is the defense that you're supposed to go to war with, and they have shown time and time again that they are just in over their heads. You know, you've
Mhm.
got Vlasic, who, for better or for worse, is a pretty good defenseman in his own end. Pretty horrible in the offensive zone. Can make a pretty good first pass. So we'll say he's a stay at home kind of defenseman. Pretty
Yeah.
good in his own respect. Offensively, not there. Braun is a two-way defenseman, or marketed as a two-way defenseman, meaning that he's got a little bit of offensive zone talent, a little bit of defensive zone talent. Defensively in his own zone hasn't looked like a wreck. Offensively, can't hit the broadside of a barn.
Oh, so it's
Uh,
Christian Ehrhoff.
yeah, yeah. Then you've got Burns, who is completely all offensive, and then is just Keystone Cops in the defensive end. You've got Paul Martin, who is a pretty good. He's marketed as well as a shutdown defenseman. Pretty good, able to move, but sometimes you see his age showing a little bit. And then you've got two AHLers, and so you've got question marks on two of your top four D men, and then the two AHL defensemen who you've got to play 9 in, 9 out. Sorry, Dylan, I'm calling an AHL defenseman because right now he's just not living up to that contract. And so on any given night, out of your 6 defensemen, you've got 4 question marks. And Doug Wilson is a defenseman. Isn't this his specialty? I mean, I don't get it. I mean, did you all of a sudden forget that you're supposed to build from the net out?
Yeah. No, I agree. Speaking of the net out, though, so obviously Jones wasn't very good tonight. We got a question about from, I believe, Jay Clark, at Jay Clark 5000 on Twitter, and he asks, when do we see Stalock get consecutive starts? Personally, I think he should start next game.
Agreed. After those 2 boneheaded mistakes in the trapezoid by Jones, and clearly showing that the mental focus wasn't there, it's time to put a little punishment, I think, in my mind.
Yeah, I think he starts Stalock. I mean, why not?
It kind of goes with it being, okay, Martin, you definitely haven't sealed the deal with the number 1 spot.
And not to say that Stalock has either.
No.
It's just,
oh gosh, no.
It's just that of the 20 minutes that we saw of Stalock was a lot more confidence inspiring than the 40 minutes we saw of Jones tonight. And you know what? If this thing goes south, and I'm talking like a 20-win season, and that draft pick is like number 4 overall, I'm going to lose it. I mean, way more than I am tonight.
Yeah, because remember, that belongs to Boston now, thanks to Martin Jones.
Yeah, and it's not protected.
And it's not lottery protected, and that's the worst thing.
In Doug Wilson's infinite wisdom, it's like, oh, I don't need to lottery protect it. We're going to do well.
Well, I mean, Doug Wilson, I mean, this is it, right? Like, this is all his chips on the table. I don't see how he survives this year if the Sharks don't at least make the playoffs. If the Sharks miss the playoffs, there's no way they can bring Doug Wilson back next year. There's just no way. He's put all his chips on the table. They're all pushed into the center. It's time for him to, he's going to walk away from the table with nothing, because I don't think they'd ever fire him. I think they would promote him within, and then maybe, we end up being the Oilers from before this year, where he's
So he does hold 2 titles. He holds the executive vice president of hockey ops or whatever, and GM. It was the in vogue thing to do, to make your GM your hockey ops guy as well. And let's face it, Hasso Plattner is kind of absentee owner, and so DW I think will hang around for a little while, even after he gets shit canned from the GM or promoted, or is focusing on his executive role. So, I mean, whatever. D'Lo is asking what goaltender is on the market that the Sharks could trade for. At this point, I don't think there's any kind of trades that Doug Wilson's going to make. There
No.
is no cavalry coming over the sunset. This is it. This is what you're going to war with.
Yeah, I agree. And I don't think, and you know what? Yes, Jones let in a couple of bad goals tonight, but he's not the problem.
No, he just made two boneheaded mistakes.
And that's going to happen.
Compounded on
Right.
two boneheaded defensive zone mistakes, which seems to be happening with frequency at this point. I'm
sorry.
No. I was just gonna say I think we should talk about the attendance and some of the fan packages, because I think Eric's got a couple of good points that I kind of wanted everybody to listen to. So Eric, why don't you go ahead and lay it on us?
Gentry and I have a 10-game Shark Pack. We sit in section 207, row 10. We pay $530 for our 10-game pack. And of course, last year we kind of saw it where AJ was able to get in for there were tickets for $12 being sold on StubHub. Today I was kind of looking at it before I went to work to see what the tickets were. There were a lot fewer than what there were. What was the last game? Carolina, where it was really low. It was definitely fewer, but tickets were starting at $46. Not very good. It's below market value for the Shark Pack holder like yours truly. And then I see tonight on their website introducing the new Heritage Pack. You get 2 tickets to 4 of the Throwback Night games, and you receive a free Heritage jersey or T-shirt.
Wow.
And Eric, why don't you go ahead and give the prices on those?
So the Heritage Pack gets you 2 tickets to 4 games, plus a free Heritage jersey or T-shirt from the store. The packets start at $368.
Right. So if we want to do a little bit of breakdown on the math, we're saying a Heritage jersey is probably about $150. So take out $150 out of that pack. You're talking about $200. What? Go ahead.
Yeah, it's $218. And these aren't like throwaway opponents. You're getting the Penguins, the Red Wings, Senators, and Flames. It's a
Heritage jersey. So
right.
The Heritage jersey night, which is kind of cool. So you've got 8 tickets basically for $218, and you've paid for a 10-game Shark Pack at $500.
Yep.
And that's just one seat.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about fucking pissing on me when I'm laying in the ground, because the Sharks management is not doing anybody any favors at this point.
No.
And to be honest, they deserve this attendance dip.
Now, here's the other catch, Landy. I'm just reading the fine print here. A Heritage jersey is included with the pack purchased in the lower bowl and is good for any Premier jersey. In other words, if you don't want the retro jersey, you can get the white, the teal, or the black jersey. A T-shirt is included with the pack when you purchase the ticket in the upper bowl. And is good for any T-shirt in the Shark store with a maximum retail value of $35.
Yeah. So basically, no. Yeah. The fact that they're not doing anything for Shark Pack holders, the fact that they're bringing this out now, it's just like I said. It's like piss on me when I'm down in the gutter, man, because they're not doing anybody any favors, and they're having attendance issues, and this is why. Because Totora, in his fucking infinite wisdom, decided, let's raise prices in the last 2 years, and not to mention raise prices and change when renewals were happening the year after the debacle. I'm not even going to call it the LA Kings win or whatever the hell, down 0-3 or 3-0, whatever the fuck you want to call it. I'm just going to call it the debacle because that's quite frankly what it is.
Yeah.
And right now, I mean, it's the team's play, it's the management's lack of hearing fans and what matters to fans and giving any kind of fan support is just compounding this. And it was pretty sad because I was seeing all on Twitter, they're saying this is the lowest they've seen the tank in a long time, and
If
I'd be
ever.
yeah, I'd be surprised if they even broke 10,000. Going from a whatever 183 game sellout streak or whatever the hell it was to this in the span of a year and a half. Oh boy, this team has got a million different leaks, and it's
And,
sprint, and the dam's about to break.
and let's not forget too, they gave free tickets to all Barracuda season ticket holders tonight because they couldn't sell anything. They also, I guess, gave some extras to some season ticket holders. Um, I believe K Fox had a bunch to give out as well. It's just
Yeah, I
it's
mean,
just
what the
absolutely
Sharks need to
ridiculous.
do is they need to look, they need to go to the other coast and look at the problems Florida has, because Florida completely destroyed the value of their tickets with freebies and giveaways and constantly, and then it's going to get to the point where people are going to get so used to the free tickets that even if the Sharks are good, fans are going to stop buying them because they're used to getting them for free or getting them at a discount or everything else. And then when you do stuff like this to the season ticket holders, the ones that are actually coming out and paying, and then you're just trying to like give everyone else tickets and they're still paying full value as well as you have full value plus all these increases and the changing the date of the ticket renewals and all that nonsense. Like I don't know, it seems short-sighted, and yeah, maybe you might get a few butts to maybe look like look on TV like it's better, but it's not. I mean, you're seeing in chat, someone Mike Lee said, I couldn't give away $30 tickets tonight, like $30 seats tonight. Couldn't give them away.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
no, it's ridiculous. Just kind of an aside. Daryl Martin says, Eric Landy could not help but notice Mickey Mouse behind you. Kind of sums up the Sharks' effort tonight. That is not actually Mickey Mouse. That is Oswald. That is
oh,
a
rabbit.
19 Oswald the Lucky Rabbit, which was Walt Disney's first creation. I remember seeing this on Toonheads back in the early 90s on Cartoon Network back really late, and seeing those 1920s cartoons, and it always stuck with me. I always loved Oswald the Rabbit, so he's kind of my favorite. I've always been an Oswald kind of person, and not really. I mean, I like Mickey Mouse, but Oswald's better
You
to
know
me.
what's a funny thing is Disney did not have the rights to Oswald the Rabbit. The NBC television network did.
And they traded Al Michaels for Oswald the
Right.
Rabbit. Yeah.
Can you believe that? That's so unreal. Anyway, sorry for our Disney thing right now.
Hey, at least it gets me away from the Sharks because, like I said, they pissed on the sweater, and it was I felt going into this as like, oh my gosh, good feelings. I was going back to being a kid again, seeing these beautiful jerseys on the ice, this really kick-ass logo. It brought me back. I had such good feelings. I thought, oh man, you know what? They're gonna really play for this sweater. You saw that little clip of Thornton saying, "Oh, it's a good look," and it was like it got me in, man. And I was like, I'm all right. These guys are ready to go, and fucking they came out with that bullshit effort. It,
They had two penalties 4 minutes in, and then they score 1-0. You kind of already um, had it in your head. Oh no, here we go.
Mhm. Oh yeah, right off the hop.
Right, and see that's the thing I think that turns away people to going to games because they know when um, they know when they are I just lost my mind.
No,
Sorry,
no, no.
I had a sharp moment with my brain.
No, I mean, I think where you're going with that is fans know when they put in an effort. I mean, there's
Mhm.
a reason why Columbus is able to draw fans at Nationwide, because they know at least their team is putting in the effort, right? I mean, there's a reason why Toronto fans go to Toronto, because it's hockey, you know. The Sharks don't have the luxury of that. The Sharks don't even have the luxury of a team that's hardworking. And fans notice that. Fans in the Bay Area are smart, you know, and
You've developed a very smart and strong fan base, and you're just crumbling it down to smithereens. I mean, I know they signed a lease with the city of San Jose, but I kind of wonder, and this is my major league conspiracy, if you ever seen that movie, do they need to? Are there any out clauses uh, in that lease in that first 10 years?
like attendance, if there's a dip in attendance or something, they have an
Like
out
different
clause.
attendance, or I mean, supposedly there's improvements coming to the Shark Tank. I don't know what they would do.
Okay, well, let's get this out of the way first. First off, the Shark Tank is in a great spot. It's right downtown. Parking is pretty accessible. It's not crazy to park at the game. You know, you might have to walk a few blocks, but I did it for the Carolina game. It wasn't too bad. I spent $7 on parking. Not a big deal. You go into the arena, it's still such a beautiful complex. I mean, it's still got that great industrial design. That concrete still looks really good. There's of course there's going to be a couple spots that need to be touched up here and there. If it were me and I had free reign to do anything at the tank, I would probably get different food options, better beer options, and that's really my major gripe, because the concourse is great, the walkability of the stadium is great. It's got that great open feel to it. It doesn't feel old to me.
No, no. I mean, certain things can be updated to it if they wanted to. But at the same time, you're kind of in that window where you don't want to do too many updates because you're going to waste money, because you know the team is going to be asking um, to let's get a new rink up.
Look at MSG though. I mean, it's not like it's impossible.
True, true, and there's nothing wrong with the tank. Could it use a little more modern update? Sure. I mean,
Sure.
we are in Silicon Valley. I mean,
Yeah, but
you would think
do the
that we would
taxpayers want to
hide
pay for a new arena?
No, but Santa Clara will.
Well,
it.
Oh my God! Don't even
Oh
get me.
gosh.
Don't even get me started with that. But um, no, it's. Oh. And you know what pisses me off the most, though? It's when a team asks for an arena when they're piss poor. So I live in San Diego, and if any of you guys, anybody watches the NFL remotely, knows about how San Diego and the Chargers have had this pissing contest for the last 10 years for a new stadium. And the crux of people's argument down here, a taxpayer's argument, is that if the team would do better, then they would be all for giving them a new stadium, because you know what? In their minds, it's good sports dollars investment. Right now, with the way that the team plays, people don't want to be spending their money on that. Why? Because you know what? They can stay at home. They can grill up their brats on their grill at home, be on their nice recliner, watch the TV, watch the game, have a beer, and not have to pay fucking $40 for a hot dog and a beer. You know, and so it's just that when a team plays poorly and then asks for something, and asks for the taxpayers, and asks for their supporters to give them more money, or give them land to develop something, or whatever, what have you, and they don't do well, who's going to want to support that? So
And
when it comes up in, let's say in 5 years, when the Sharks want to move to a new stadium, and let's say the Sharks, God forbid, but their playoff drought continues for the next 5 years, well, will the people of Santa Clara and the surrounding Bay Areas want to open up to the Sharks? No.
No, and that's the thing. You're not going to have too many choices in the area.
No, and kind of go. Let's kind of hit the chat real quick. It seems like there's kind of been a chat about Wingles and what's his ceiling and what do we expect of him. Quite frankly, right now, Wingles needs to step it up because unless he's hurt, he's not providing an impact whatsoever.
Yeah.
What do you guys think?
They all need to step it up. Like I said, and we can throw the graphic up again. I mean, you can't have the freaking you can't have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 players with Schneid's 4 games or more. I mean, that's 3 of your tops, or no, that's 4 of your top 6 that are a combined 32 games without a goal. 32 man games without a goal. Hurdle with 9, Thornton with 9, Marlowe with 8, Donskoy with 6.
Donskoy might have been one of the best Sharks on the ice tonight, though.
No,
yeah,
no,
that was probably his
Donskoy.
best game of the year.
Yeah, agreed. And I
that's
think
saying a lot.
Yeah. No, Chris Edwards is talking about Alex Chabourne. He's a good player, but the guy that you really want to be looking for is Kevin LeBlanc. That kid is going to do some good things. I really like him. And don't forget Dan O'Regan, too, who's in the NCAA, who's also going to be a really good player. He was playing with Eichel, either being on his line or centering his own second line, and they provided a really good 1-2 punch. Right? They were on the Terriers, right?
Yeah, Boston University.
Yeah. EU. Yeah, I'm curious to see how Oregon ends up without Mr. Eichel. The other player too, I know there players are talking like a Klo type of player. Your Klo type player, in my opinion, that's in the system right now is Dylan Sadowie.
I love that kid. I mean, just the fact that he punches that guy going across because he's dumb enough to want to get high fives from the fucking opposing bench, and then Dylan or Sadowie is just like, you know what, you're being a fucking clown. Boom. I like that.
Yeah, but if we're gonna have dumb penalties, then we need to keep these Jays around. So.
Yeah, we also got Chester Chivo saying there's a new shiny arena in San Francisco. Agreed, but look, I mean, San Francisco has been tried as a hockey town. Now, mind you, the Spiders weren't that great, and you had the Bulls playing in
the Cow Palace.
In the Cow Palace, which is kind of a joke. But believe me, that's a Giants town now. And the way that the Giants have been playing, they're cemented in there for a long time. Now, the good thing is that the Sharks and the Giants, their seasons only overlap a little bit, but you're also going to be competing for basketball money now, and whoever is going to still make the trek out to Santa Clara to watch the Niners. So, moving to anywhere in the Bay Area is kind of a death sentence for the Sharks, in my opinion. They really have had cultivated a great hockey town here, and slowly but surely they're just pissing on it and pissing it away.
Yeah, it's just the whole San Jose. This is their team.
Yeah,
this is their main major league team. Before the SaberCats came in, before the Quakes. Before even
the Niners,
those are Cyber Rays or Lasers or
when the Giants were threatening to go to Florida, when the A's were doing nothing, when Oakland was a perpetual crap team. I mean, the only team that they really had to compete for were the 49ers, and even then, the Sharks still filled the tank night in, night out.
Yep.
But the thing is if you move to San Francisco, number one, Warriors owner Joe Lacob said that the arena will be made specifically for basketball and concerts. In other words, if you take a look at the problems that the Islanders are having with the
I
Barclays
was just
Center,
gonna say that. Yeah.
that's the same thing. You look at what the Coyotes dealt with when they were at American West Arena when they first moved from Winnipeg. It's going to be like that.
And
It's
this
not going to
is.
be worth it, and there'll be second class citizens in there because
Yep.
they'll have to pay rent.
And this is why they don't want to put a team in Seattle right now without a new building either, because the Key Arena, which is the current arena in Seattle, is also a basketball arena. So
Mm-hmm.
again, same type of issues. Um,
Not to mention putting it anywhere other than downtown Seattle is not a good idea.
I agree.
And
I'm not
even
local,
even the Western
so
Hockey League team left that
Go
arena.
ahead, Ian.
I said I'm not local, obviously. So my question is, I guess, would this be kind of like, I mean, obviously, like the Coyotes never drew well to begin with, but would this be kind of like moving, if you move the Sharks to San Francisco, could you kind of draw a parallel of moving the Coyotes to Glendale?
Well, no, because the metropolitan area of the combined San Francisco collective is much higher than anything Arizona has. So
Sure.
you definitely have the money, the affluence,
Hmm.
the amount of people to draw. It's just that you've got a lot of competition for your sports dollar in San Francisco.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have that grassroots hockey that you built out in San Jose.
Right. Well,
Um,
that's what I mean. Like, would it just become like a big hassle to like for the people that were watching? Would it become a too big of a hassle to make the commute to go to San Francisco? Like,
well,
would they lose
it's
seats that
about
way?
37 miles from San Jose to San Francisco, depending on what way you take.
Sure.
So that can take anywhere from, you know, I've done it in 30 minutes. It could take upwards of an hour and a half to get to San Francisco from San Jose. So you've got to factor in an extra, let's just say, an hour if you're lucky for commute time.
Okay.
Plus, parking in San Francisco is horrid.
Yeah.
So if you don't take anything but public transportation, you're going to have a hell of a time trying to find parking, and there's nowhere to put a parking structure. So
Hmm.
Yeah,
so you're
that
screwed that way.
they didn't do too much parking at AT&T Park, and where the Warriors arena is going to be at, it's going to be very limited as it is. In fact, the Giants, I think, had a ballot measure tonight to change their main parking lot into a mixed use area for shops and uh, uh, residencies.
Yeah. So
Wow.
if you're banking on commuter fans from San Jose making it up to San Francisco, that's a poor bet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was asking. I think is by moving the team. If you're moving the team away from its core of fans, are fans still going to go through the hassle of going to a game that's not in the SAP Center? I guess that was my question.
Yeah,
And
because I think maybe because you have a lot of people that are in the deep South Bay, like you have in Hollister, Gilroy, Santa Cruz, um, people who already take a 40-minute trip uh, up to San Jose, which isn't as bad as taking a commute from San Jose to San Francisco. Um, it makes it more convenient for people in the East Bay and the North Bay to get to games, but that comes at a cost for your fan base. And like we said again, the Sharks are the only game in town now until the Quakes start up.
yeah.
Yeah.
You're not fighting anybody else.
Yeah. No, no, and you know, kind of looking on this holistically. If we say we're 6-6 right now, you're even. You're still towing the line till Couture gets back. But at some point, this lack of scoring depth is going to rear its ugly head when he gets back. And believe me, if you're trotting this same lineup out and nobody decides to pick up the play, whether or not you have Couture back, it doesn't matter. Because when you don't have anything besides the number one center and the number two center and the players surrounding those guys, then the season is going to be very long and not in a good way.
Mm-hmm.
um, because quite frankly, the scoring depth is been an issue for years, and it's still not fixed. And to me, this defense is not matched well for the Western Conference at all. Not they can't
No.
they can't defend at all. And if you're expecting Martin Jones to post a 35 save game, every game you trot him out there, that's unrealistic.
Right.
It's unrealistic. So yes, we're 6-6, and we're still in this. But believe me, if things don't change rapidly, it's going to go down quickly. It's going to go down quickly. And the last what's the record in the last 8 games, Eric? Do you have that readily
I
available?
can put up. In their last 10, they're 4-6.
Yeah, yeah. Their last 10, they're 4-6. So
Mhm.
you know the only reason why it's 4-6 is because they're still hanging on to those wins that they got in the very early of the season.
And I'll say this: they're the only team that's in a current playoff spot that isn't a plus in goal differential now. They are now
What
even.
they're even.
Um,
How many have they scored? How many have they given up?
they've scored 33 and given up 33.
Yeah, that's not getting it done. That's not getting it done at all.
In let's put it this way: the Sharks. Oh, here, let me actually put the screen share on. Um, do-do-do-do-do. There we go. So the Kings won tonight. The Canucks are idle. They'll play Pittsburgh tomorrow. They're at 16 points. Uh, the Sharks are currently barely hanging on in third with 12 points. The Wildcards are 16 for Nashville. Winnipeg is at 15. Chicago is at 14, along with Arizona at 11. And lo and behold, and I'm going to highlight it right here, Edmonton at 10. Yes, they lost Connor McDavid tonight, but Edmonton at 10. Colorado at 9. You know,
Yeah, no, I think this trend is going to continue. The wild card at this point is not an option. They've got to be in that top
Right.
three. The Central Division is just too stacked. It's
Yeah.
just too stacked, and you've got to figure that Anaheim's going to turn it on sometime. They got so much
Yeah.
talent.
This can't last forever.
right?
The Ducks can't be this terrible forever. I mean, like I can see Calgary's regression. Colorado's a garbage team. Edmonton, who knows what they do. Arizona's playing over their head.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, you know what? I'm afraid. I'm afraid that Anaheim's just going to trot in here and they're going to fucking curb stomp the Sharks. It'll be it,
That
it'll
wouldn't shock
be
me.
it'll be like a 5-1 game.
My question is, when did the Pacific become the Southeast Division?
Yeah.
Mm,
Yeah.
like the Sharks holding onto a playoff spot with less points than half the Central. It's ridiculous.
No, it really is. It's sad. It's sad.
I'm looking up at the Eastern Conference, and they would be fifth in the wild card with 12 points. It,
I think the other thing that we've got to highlight too for our listeners is that, well, if we even have listeners at this point, um, is that the Sharks have always kind of coasted into the playoffs. There's only one time I can really remember that they turned it on going into a playoff run. So
Mhm.
I don't have any confidence that they'll be making runs in late February, you know, you know, April, May. I don't have the confidence that they can turn it on and just flick a switch like LA always does, because we have
Right.
not seen that from this team, and to so far they have not shown me any resilience or any semblance of that they have the resilience to do that. And that's why that's why I'm so upset right now, because normally this is the time that the Sharks bank their points so that they can get into the playoffs.
right.
Yeah.
And you have them. You had them 4-0, 8 points. While again, Anaheim and LA were 0-4, and my how that's changed.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
it's
Mhm.
I have yeah. I mean, I think we're at a loss of words, so I think we'll go to final thoughts then, guys.
Um, well, I mean, if it, I guess just you got to toe that line. How many points are there remaining now? 6 points remaining to up for grabs. So you got to make the best of it. You got to get 6 points at this point. To me, if you're going to salvage this homestand and salvage, any kind of semblance of home ice advantage, um, it's going to be hard though because you don't have the attendance like you used to. You don't have that crowd like you used to. Um, this team defensively is making really boneheaded mistakes that should have been corrected in training camp. The defensive depth is lacking. The bottom six lines or bottom six forwards are a mess. Um, Lack of depth scoring. I mean, the list goes on and on. Um, Somebody's got to step up and say, "Hey, boys, we got to do this. We got to get going." And you know what? It needs to be Nieto. It needs to be Wingles. It needs to be Hurdle. It needs to be Tierney, because right now they've got to push on those top guys to be better. Um,
Yeah.
because Thornton and yeah, Pavelski scored tonight, but to me they've got to push them to be better.
Hmm. This whole team needs to be better. Um, and I get it, Pavelski's leading, but it can't be a one-person team.
No.
Your final thoughts, Ian?
I mean, the Sharks, they, super obvious, Captain Obvious moment here, but the Sharks, frankly, just have to play better if they are going to continue playing this way. If they continue playing this way, this team isn't like, like Landy said earlier, this is not a team that is a couture away from being, competitive again. If they can't fix all these other little problems, it's just Couture can mask some of it, but you can't just expect Logan to come back and everything's going to be all hunky dory again because there's too many other problems in this team that you're seeing now. I mean, Logan Couture is an amazing player. Don't get me wrong, but this isn't just a Logan Couture away from being better. And I think when fans realize that, then I think we'll be in a better place.
And at this point, it's a real gut check time for the organization. Um, you're doing so many call ups, which is great to have the team right nearby. However, oh my gosh, I mean, you're seeing your true colors of your organizational uh, prospect look. And yeah, you have a lot of kids still in juniors or even in college, but right now, if they're not making their if they're not doing their thing right now, and they're not in with the Sharks and not the Bear in with the Barracuda, that tells you something right off the bat. Um, Kind of looking at the couple last tweets coming in. Um, Gen X is saying, "I'm listening, but the whole show has been beep beep those beeping beepers." Yes, I do want to apologize for the rant earlier tonight, but I will say this: I hope that they're getting their heads out of their butts and get their butts in gear tomorrow at practice because it's not acceptable, and if it becomes acceptable, they might need to close off the upper deck for Sharks games too.
Yeah, no, I think um, I hate to be the person that cries, be Chicken Little and cries that the sky has fallen, but these next 15 games are not only pivotal for the Sharks season, but they're kind of pivotal for the franchise as a whole, in my
Mm-hmm.
opinion. Because in the next 15 games, if they come out and they go, uh, 10-5, then I have hope that they can salvage something. If they go 7-8 or 6-9, Houston, we have serious problems, and it's not just the team; it's the franchise. Hey, Ian, you wanted to say one more thing?
Yeah, I was just wanted to remind everybody that we're going to record tomorrow, Teal Tinted Glasses, so look for that Thursday.
Thank you. I was just gonna say, and what's coming up on Teal Tinted Glasses?
Yeah, I thought I'd get it in there.
What are you guys? Are you guys gonna have the full crew complement? Any
As
guests
far as I
or
know.
anything?
Yeah, no, I don't know. I don't think we have any guests lined up for tomorrow. It's just gonna be. It should be all three of us because there's no game tomorrow. So, Rocket should be on the show with us. And as for what we're gonna talk about, yeah, I don't know. I'll write it tomorrow.
Going off a whim, which is totally fine.
Hey, it works for us.
Right? Well, we just kind of put a semi idea together and we go from there. With that, and I don't think AJ's gonna jump on here. So again, for AJ Strong, uh, Ian Reed, Eric Landy, Gentry Alexander, Chris JWS, Rocket Backhander, Wendell. I'm not forgetting anybody. Am I, guys? Help me out here. Sure.
Felix, Daryl Martin.
There we go. And those guys, and all the checks
Those people.
everywhere. Those people.
Those Pucknology people.
Yeah,
Yes.
definitely check out the website. We'll be having some editorials coming up. I plan on writing a few things coming up too. Maybe take a look at the state of the franchise and where it's going and how San Francisco and Oakland sports politics affects the Sharks, because it's not looking pretty.
Not looking good. I'm Troy Clarity. Until next time, keep it real, keep it fresh, keep it real fresh. Keep the pucks to the net, please. Thank you.